Alrighty, well, switch cards because my SIM card is kind of full from what Telltale sign said. This is just We the People News, okay? This video is without prejudice and without recourse, alright? And I'm not an attorney, so anything I say or do on here is not a legal advice. It's just opinions. Why? Because I'm not an attorney, okay? And don't want to be. Oh, I'm going to do a couple of videos of different court things that's been going on. Everybody's been kind of waking up and realizing some things hasn't been actually done properly. And, you know, when we the people are supposed to be bosses, and yet we're subjects, you know, they act like that we're not their boss, okay? Argument's sake, attorneys, they always practice law. So every single time they go to court, they're practicing. Why? Because they don't know law. And the reason why they don't know law is because they would be held to a higher standard. So they always have to use this practice thing. Okay? Again, that's just my opinion. This video, I've seen it on other deals, but this is Gavin Sims, S-E-I-M. Alright? If you want to get a better picture of it and all that, this is more along the lines, just kind of throwing it out there, because it's actually an old video. But it's still going on today, y'all. And nothing has changed.
Yes, I am in charge of this courtroom, and you're going to stop it.
We are in charge of the courtroom.
Marshall, would you show Mr. Martinez the inside of our holding tank?
Now, this next courtroom video, you're going to want to see to believe. If you guys follow my work, you know that I've had some incidents in the courtroom with my activism as well, because our judges have grown so corrupt and there's zero accountability. This one comes from Las Vegas, and it's Joshua Martinez, who's a guy I know. He's a good guy. He's very well-spoken, very polite individual. And so he's in court for this minor traffic.
I want to pause this for quick. From my understanding, James Freeman actually got involved because of this guy also. I guess James Freeman at one time followed him and all that kind of stuff. He lives in Mexico now and all that kind of stuff. Due to, you know, family safety, and the courts was corrupt, and he was not going to win. Yeah, no shit. Okay? Corrupts are corrupt, and the only way you win is when they just want to show the publicly that, yeah, see, we do actually furnish justice out there. Yeah, right.
Traffic offense in traffic court before this traffic commissioner, judge, whatever they like to call themselves. Her name is Ann Elworth. Is so obsessed with being worshipped. Josh, legally, constitutionally, on the things that he talks about, he's absolutely spot on. And I'm right on the same page with him in terms of his understanding of the law, his protest of illegal permits and things like that. But really, it doesn't matter if you agree with Josh on this. It doesn't matter if you agree with the person being abused. The behavior of this judge, of Ann Elworth down in Las Vegas, is so completely out of line. Let's look at what happens when Josh tries to exercise his human rights guaranteed by the Constitution that the judge is bound by in law.
City versus Joshua Martinez.
105-316-5858. Good afternoon.
Hello?
On the charge of having a suspended driver's license on April 12th. What is your plea, sir?
Just have a couple questions before we proceed. I don't understand the nature and cause of the charges.
You're charged with driving on a suspended, canceled, or revoked driver's license, sir.
Okay. Is that a criminal offense or civil?
Criminal offense, sir.
Criminal? Okay. Is there a sworn statement against me or injured party?
I believe you probably received a citation on April 12th. That would be the criminal complaint filed against you.
Okay. And is there a injured party or damage to property here
It's
against me?
charged brought by the city of Las Vegas, sir.
Okay, so the city's the victim in the case?
The city is the, yes,
Victim?
the charging part.
So they're the
yes.
victim?
Sir, the victim element is a different legal term than is used. The city is the party making the allegations against you, yes.
Okay, so
What is your plea on the
if the
charge,
city
Mr.
is
Martinez?
the,
Mr.
if they
Martinez.
are,
I'm going to stop there for a second, y'all. All right, so it's a different legal term. Okay? You've heard me talk about other things in other videos. Trickery of words. Okay? So they get all these things all stirred up in this pot to get you to consent. All right? Number one, they wanted him to go in there and make a plea. Okay? As soon as you make a plea, y'all, number one, you give them jurisdiction. Number two, you made a claim. Now, you have to actually, you're the claimant. Now, they still call you defendant, but you still made a claim. Okay? And this is the tricks the courts actually do on you. All right? So, I mean, you just can't get any clearer than that. Anytime you go in there and make any type of plea, it is a claim. And you actually gave them jurisdiction. That's what they want. They want you to make that plea so the courts can have personal jurisdiction.
Today,
Victor,
Mr.
I would like
Martinez,
to
I am in
move
charge of
to
this
a federal
courtroom, and
court.
you're going to stop
We are
it.
in charge of the courtroom, ma'am.
Marshall, would you show Mr. Martinez the inside of our holding tank, please? You're not going to tell me who's in charge of my courtroom, Mr. Martinez. Go ahead and go with the marshal. That is direct contempt of court.
Okay, so he don't go into great details, okay? But direct contempt of court is actually not a thing. It's a made-up word to scare the sheep into compliance. But what the guy should have said, all right, is that civil or criminal? Okay? Because now the judge made a claim. The judge made a claim at that point in time. Okay, we got to understand these claims and all this kind of stuff. But since the judge made a claim on something that he did wrong, okay, well now he's in a different type of court venue. Because she just made a claim. She put herself in actually another court venue. They slapped by it because of the ignorance of we the people. Civil. Okay, well, I'm going to refuse your offer. Criminal. Well, the judge cannot be a victim, judge, jury, and executioner in that matter. It would have to be a totally different case. She cannot do that. Now, because of the ignorance of the people and nobody ever does it, lets the courts run rapid. Okay? And they've gotten so spoiled and used to these things that it's just first nature to them to violate your rights. Alright? It's first nature.
Okay, Mr. Martinez, since you have informed me that I am in contempt of court and that you are in fact in charge of this courtroom, I'm going to go ahead and sentence you today to direct contempt of court. I will give you an opportunity to apologize if you choose to do so and behave in a manner that I consider appropriate for a courtroom. Would you like to do that today, Mr. Martinez?
I would like to proceed only if I can have my questions answered. That's all I
That
want.
wasn't my question, sir. Did you wish to have the opportunity to apologize and proceed in a manner that I consider appropriate for the courtroom?
What would I be
It is a
apologizing?
yes or a no question.
What would I be?
Alright. So now Josh is supposed to be able to read her mind. That's what's appropriate for her. Okay? Number one. So he's supposed to read her mind. And then he's supposed to apologize for asking questions and find out technically what jurisdiction, whether it's, who's the victim in this matter and all that kind of stuff. He's asking questions. Alright. And what was the other one on there, she said? Yeah, we will just go on.
Apologize.
For your direct contempt of court, sir.
Again, what is the direct contempt of court? Asking questions. And yeah, he did say, no, you're in contempt of court, which she actually is. Now, people, we need to wake up and realize what the judges are doing to us to get us into submission, to us comply, to give them jurisdiction. And everything she's doing right now, anytime a judge says contempt of court, it is actually retaliation. It's not really contempt of court. They call it contempt of court, but it's retaliation because you did not play along like all the
All I
other
was asking
all
was
the
legal
sheep.
questions, ma'am.
I disagree, sir. To tell me that you are in charge of this courtroom and tell me that I am in contempt is not asking legal questions. It is contempt of court. I'm going to ask you the question one more time. Did you?
Now, did you guys ever actually hear him saying he is in charge of court? He said the people's court. Not that he is in charge, but he did challenge her, saying, hey, you are actually in contempt because he is not going through his due process. She's not allowing it.
Wish to apologize and proceed in a manner I consider appropriate in this courtroom or not? Okay. Direct contempt. I'm going to sentence him to 15 days in jail.
Also, earlier, she said, geez, I just blanked out again. Oh my goodness. She said, it's a yes or no answer. Well, by gosh, sometimes you don't answer questions, but I would have just gone ahead. Okay, well, I'll give you an answer. Yes or no. Oh, right then and there, he answered the question, and then she don't have a leg to stand on that, right? Because he actually answered her question. She said, well, you need to answer, yes or no. Well, go ahead and answer it, yes or no.
And we'll set it for video 15 days from today. Actually, he can just be released on it and given a new court date. Okay, thank you.
The Sixth Amendment grants me that.
Sir, I would suggest you stop speaking now.
Article 1, Section 2 of the Nevada Constitution says that my paramount allegiance is to the federal government.
Marshall, you're going to want to close the door.
See, now, there's people in there. She is retaliating against him because she cannot have all the sheep in the staple right there to follow suit against him. They want all the little sheep in that steeple there to play along and get along. All right. And now they all see, oh, I got to behave because she will throw me in jail.
Can we go ahead and get him an MH evaluation while he's there too? So we can determine whether he's competent to represent himself when he's released. Next.
Is this what we call justice now, guys? Is it okay for a judge to behave this way? Ann Elworth, you are in contempt. You're in contempt of the law. You're in contempt of humanity, and you're in contempt of this court. So you and your goons that run Las Vegas, you may be getting away for now. You may think you're something special, but eventually there will be justice. You don't get to arbitrarily put people away in jail for no good reason, for asking lawful, reasonable, and sane questions. You're the one that needs a mental evaluation, Ann Elworth. And I hope that when justice comes, because I'm not a tyrant psycho like you are, Ann Elworth, I hope that when justice comes for you, that you get the due process that you denied us. I hope you don't get a judge like you. I hope you don't get officers who just follow orders, whether they're right or wrong, like you. And your petty and vindictive response to a man simply standing up for his rights and asking questions is absolutely appalling. And you should be ashamed of yourself, and your community should be ashamed of you. It's time to stop letting people get away with this kind of nonsense, guys. It's time to start standing up in our communities for peace. Love your neighbor enough to stand up for them. Love your neighbors enough so that when they're insane, when they're abusing people, love them enough to tell them the truth and say, you're not okay. After Josh was arrested, there's a video actually of me going down to the jail and trying to get to see him, trying to ask questions. All the officers, all the officials down there made excuses. They put it off. They ran from me as usual. You can go back and see that video. Josh is out of jail now, but to top it off, now the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police are continuing to harass Josh. Last week, they arrested him again on a felony charge of concealed carry, as if that could possibly be a felony in any sort of a sane government. The government of Nevada ought to be ashamed. But he wasn't even concealed carrying. He was at work. He was completely lawfully open carrying. He was totally within the law, and there was witnesses to the fact, and they still arrested him.
Now, I had to go a little further, and I may be wrong. It's been a while. All right. But he was on either probation or parole, set on bond, all right? And they got ahead and stuck him back in jail because there was a fire stick poker by the fireplace and a baseball bat. So they threw him back in jail because he was around a weapon. Yeah. Was that ridiculous or not, y'all? Alright, this is Diesel We the People News. Till next time. Bye, y'all. Everything I said was not legal advice. Alright? Research it on your own. Bye, y'all.